Hello and welcome to the Phobia Factor. Coming up on today's show, we'll be telling you the results in our study to find Manchester's biggest phobia.
And we're going to separate fact from fiction in our new feature, Mythbusters.
And we've got 3 contestants taking on our weekly challenge, Fear versus Phobia.
Now also with us today is our studio audience. Very lively. Now they're here to see if they are eager to conquer their phobias, but can we help them? Well, maybe our expert can. So there's all this and more on the show that dares us to face our fears. I'm Ross.
And I'm Fiona.
And welcome to the Phobia Factor, where we study all the weird phobias that people have all around the world. Now, the medical experts describe phobias as an overwhelming and unbearable fear of an object, a place, a situation, an animal, or even a feeling. Now, our aim is to learn more about these, as well as bust some of the myths that surround these wonderful phobias.
Well, we have a jam-packed show for you today, but first, last week we announced our quest to find out what phobias scare the people of Manchester the most. Well, the Phobia Factor team has been working incredibly hard behind the scenes with the people of Greater Manchester to find out the answer.
Yep, so thank you to those of you at home who've already answered, and if you haven't yet, then there's still time to do that before we tell you the results at the end of the show. So all you need to do is head to our Facebook or Twitter page and fill out our online survey.
But for now, here's how our reporter Lauren got on interviewing the people of Manchester.
Hi, it's me Lauren and I'm in Manchester City Centre asking people what their phobias are. I'm with Carla and she's going to tell me about her biggest fear.
Spiders.
Spiders.
Okay, my biggest phobia is probably enclosed spaces.
Tarantulas and spiders in general. Yeah.
I don't like being in the dark on my own.
Definitely spiders.
Spiders.
Absolutely hate.
Needles.
Needles.
I'm scared of slugs. I loathe spiders. They make me scream and they make my skin crawl, and I can't bear to be in the same room as one, never mind in the same bath as one or anything that's even closer than that.
Biggest fear is snakes.
My phobia is rats. They really scare me.
Hello, it's me Lauren and I'm in Media City asking the general public what their phobias are.
Yeah, I'm really scared of height. Yeah.
Needles and blood. If I wouldn't be scared of that, I would be probably a doctor, yes.
Really? Wow. Injections.
I have a phobia of confined spaces, mainly the fact that if I'm trapped under something and I can't move.
Yeah.
I cannot stand the sound of felt tip pens when you use them on paper. They just make a ridiculous noise and it just makes me wince and it's absolutely horrific.
Injections.
Well, thank you, Lauren. We'll be combining her findings with the online survey answers to find out Manchester's biggest phobia a little later on in the show. Now, Mark Widdowson, lecturer in counselling and psychotherapy at Salford University, joins us on today's show. Thank you so much for coming on, Mark.
Thank you.
So, in your professional view, can you tell us what is the difference between a fear and a phobia?
I think it's very much a grey area, and the difference about fear and phobia is about intensity and severity of it. You know, a fear is something that we all have. Everybody gets anxious from time to time, but a phobia is something that's very, very specific to a specific thing or situation or animal or whatever. But it's something that becomes intense and irrational and feels really quite overwhelming.
Well, yeah, so you mentioned the word irrational there, but is there a rational explanation as to why we suffer from them?
There are lots of possible reasons. To be honest, we don't fully know for a lot of them. Some of them, though, we can think about them as maybe that there's some sort of survival mechanism working in there. You know, there's some sort of like evolutionary process, like, for example, snakes or something like that. You know, it's something that maybe it's a good idea for us to stay clear of, because maybe there's some potential danger in them.
Yeah. And you have been studying phobias for a long time now, haven't you, Mark? So do you believe that sort of deep down we all have something we're naturally scared of?
I think everybody does have things that they don't like.
Yeah.
Everybody has certain situations or things that they would rather not do. Whether it becomes a phobia or not is a different matter. Some people it does, other people sort of keep a bit of a lid on it.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Now, Mark will be answering any questions from our studio audience a little bit later on. But if you have a question for Mark, then you can tweet us using the hashtag #MyBiggestPhobia. That's hashtag #MyBiggestPhobia. But now it's time for Mythbusters. Great. Now, phobias and other mental health disorders are often shrouded in myths and legends. Now, whenever people realise that they've developed an irrational habit over something so small, then they might think that they're going a little bit insane.
Then on the other hand, though, sometimes people kind of downgrade phobias and brush them off as simple nerves.
Well, we'll be getting all the answers from our guest expert, Mark, and separating fact from fiction about all of our phobias. So, Mark, I mean, some people label phobias as just overrated fears. What do you think of that?
I think there's perhaps some truth in it. You know, that a phobia is a kind of bit of an overrated fear, but if you're experiencing that, it feels a hell of a lot more than that. It feels so horrible at the time. So I wouldn't want to minimise the experience of someone by saying that that's all it is and try to just sort of dismiss it in that way.
Yeah, and there's even myths that link phobias and craziness together, aren't there? Like, so what's your understanding of this? You know, in hindsight, or were we just being, you know, a crazy person?
No, not at all. The thing is that when you're feeling anxious, when you're panicking, when you're freaking out, you feel like you're going mad. People really do think they're going mad, but they're not. They're absolutely not. They're not going to go mad. Nobody ever went mad from panicking, ever.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Now, are phobias sort of rooted in our personality, do you think?
I think that some people do have a kind of a naturally anxious personality and are much more prone to develop any kind of phobias or anxiety disorders. There are lots of reasons why that might be. It might be about their environment, about how they were brought up. It could also be maybe possibly genetic influences.
And just mentioning genetics there, that's a big question I think that's often asked with regard to phobias. Can they be inherited from our parents? It's just in us.
I think that there's maybe some truth in that quite often what you find if somebody does have some sort of anxiety problem is that one or maybe both of their parents have also got anxiety. We think it's perhaps a genetic thing. It's usually not the same phobia that they've passed on, but it's almost like you've got this tendency and it's latched onto a particular thing in later life.
Oh, crikey. Well, thanks, Mark. Now, as you know, the show has always been about how we can manage our phobias, and every week our reporter Lauren will be meeting with 3 different phobics who are really eager to conquer their fears.
So let's see what she's got in store for this week's contestants in Fear versus Phobia.
Hello and welcome to Fear versus Phobia. We have 3 people who have contacted us with the aim to tackle their phobias. Now let's get started. Don't move and prepare yourself for a lot of screaming. So this evening I am here with Kim, who has a very peculiar phobia of holes. So this is the first image that we have.
Yeah, Kim. That bit there. Right there, looking at me like that.
Okay, so that's the first one. Right. Second one.
Yeah, whoa, what is it? I don't even want to carry on looking at that.
So this is the tongue, and it's basically the same concept. It's got the same holes with the same seed.
Oh God, I don't even know. That's proper freaky.
Okay?
Yeah, I didn't think I'd get upset. That's horrible.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, so next challenge is we have 3 bowls here with food underneath which has holes in. Okay, so first of all, we've got party rings.
Yeah, I like party rings.
You like party rings? So do you eat them?
All the time.
All the time. So that's fine. Next one.
Yeah.
That's like, this is like a crumpet basically.
Yeah.
So these little holes, you're not comfortable with them?
No.
No. So lastly, we have aero. How are you feeling now?
Yeah, I do feel a lot better.
So today I am here with Abby in a place where many people describe as insufferable. So Abby, is that a safe word to describe how you're feeling right now?
I would say so, yes.
Hi. Please have a seat.
Hello Abby, welcome to the clinic.
Hi.
Okay, today we're going to do a root canal treatment on you. So what I'm going to do first of all is explain how we're going to do it. Okay. We do have to numb the tooth up first, so we're going to use a needle just to numb the tooth up. Once we've done that and the tooth is nice and numb, we're going to have to use my drill to make a hole inside the tooth. Okay. And once we've made a hole inside the tooth, we're going to use this special file here to take the nerve out of the tooth for you. Okay? How does that sound?
Awful.
Let's make a start.
So Abby, you were absolutely brilliant. How do you think that went for you?
A lot better than I normally would have done, yeah.
Yeah, do you think you relaxed a lot more?
Yeah, he explained it all a lot to me and showed me instruments, and it made me feel a lot better knowing what I was actually going to have done.
Hello, I am here with Emily, who is going to confront her fear of dead fish. So Emily, how are you feeling right now?
Oh God, I'm so scared.
Are you really scared?
I'm shaking.
Don't cry!
Okay, just please call me.
Of course I'm shaking! Okay, so has this helped you at all with your phobia or? No. Not at all?
No, I'm still just as scared as I am.
Yeah. Now that's all 3 of our fear versus phobias for this week, and what a week it's been. I'm sure our expert will be able to make sense of some of these. Back to you in studio.
Oh, great. Thanks, Lauren. Now, we actually have our 3 guests with us live in the studio today.
Guys, I felt so sorry for you in that video. Our team can be so mean. But Kim, let's start with you. How was the whole experience for you?
It was a bit stressful. I think, like, my sort of fears, it's just random occurrence. I didn't really know I had it until some things come along, and I'll get sweaty or I feel a bit sick when I see it. So when they showed me a picture of with the tongue, I didn't like it.
Oh, you poor thing. You did really well. Abby, you were so brave while you were at the dentist. Now, did taking part in Lauren's little exercise have something to do with that, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I mean, when I was actually in there, it was quite terrifying, but coming out of it the other end, I think it helped me an awful lot overall. So I think it was good for me.
Oh, so you did really well. Last but not least, Emily, you just couldn't face those dead fish, could you?
It was so horrible.
Oh, was it really terrible for you?
Yeah.
Do you want a second attempt?
No.
No, that's it for you. Okay. Roz, back to you.
Now, Mark, I mean, what do you make of all of these cases?
I mean, although they might sound a little bit strange, I mean, they've all got some sort of logic behind them. I can understand them, you know, the holes thing, I can understand maybe it's something about disease or something that might cause it. The dentist, nobody likes the dentist. It's pretty horrible, but we have to go it and we have to sort of put it with it. Yours on the dead fish, I mean, that's a sort of really, really specific one and something that's maybe typical of phobia. You know it's irrational, but you can't sort of stop and help how you feel, really. And I'm afraid, sorry, the only way through it is you're gonna have to face it, really.
Great. Now you've heard what the expert has to say, but what do our studio audience think? Now they've each been given a sign to hold up, saying fear on one side and phobia on the other. Now, if our audience members believe that any of our 3 guests have a serious phobia, then they'll be treated to a spa day to rejuvenate after Lauren's brutal trial, as well as a free treatment session at Maudsley Hospital, which is one of the best medical centres for anxiety disorders and trauma in England, so that they can help manage their phobias. However, if the audience believes that it's just another pesky fear, then unfortunately they'll walk away with absolutely nothing. So let's see what let's see what the audience think of Kimberly's phobia or fear of holes. Audience, please raise your cards now.
Oh, what would you say? That's fear. So they've played it down. They've downgraded yours to a fear. Kim, that's not for you there.
No spa day for you then. Now let's see what the audience think of the phobia or fear of a dentist.
Oh, that's definite fear, isn't it? That's almost, it's unanimous, I think. Not like there are a few, Abby, either, I'm afraid.
Anyway, finally, let's see what the audience have come up with for the fear or phobia of a dead fish. Audience, reveal your cards.
Definite phobia. Wow, Emily, well there you go. The spa treat is yours and hopefully the therapy will help you get over that one. There's your answer from us here in the studio, but you, the viewers, can have your say too. Just make sure to tweet us your opinions by using the hashtag #MyBiggestPhobia.
Now, studio audience, I'm going to come to you once again. So is there anyone here that would like to ask any questions for Mark, or they've got any issues that they'd like to raise with him? Yeah. Lady in the lovely Christmas jumper, what would you like to ask?
So although I've never actually eaten it, I am really scared of mayonnaise. So how do you think that I can overcome this?
Well, I'm afraid perhaps the first thing that we might need to do is maybe can you get close to it? Are you okay with being around it?
No, not really.
No, I think that would be the way to start with it really. But maybe just have some light, on a table over there, and maybe bringing it a little bit closer until you get used to it. Really, the only way people can get over fears and phobias is by facing them and putting up with the discomfort that comes with that, I'm afraid.
Okay, has that helped a little bit, or?
Yeah, I'm not in a hurry to.
I don't blame you. Anyone else like to ask a question? Yep, lady on the front row. What would you like to ask?
Are phobias most common in men or women?
Now that's a really interesting question. We don't really know, to be honest. We think that they're more common in women, but it might just be that women are more okay about being honest about it. And that men maybe are a little bit afraid of admitting it. But I think generally speaking, anxiety is slightly more common in women. Anxiety is really common full stop anyway. 30% of the population have some sort of anxiety problem.
Great, all right, thank you. And is there anyone else? Yes, what would you like to ask?
I'm genuinely interested in this. My mother, I think, had a phobia of spiders. I have a fear of spiders, and my daughter has a phobia of spiders. So I'm wondering whether I've heard that it possibly is genetic, but do phobias and fears jump generations?
I think they quite possibly could. I mean, what you're describing there, it sounds entirely plausible to me.
Great. All right, back to you, Fiona.
Well, we've had a lot of people tweet us using the hashtag, and here are two of the questions we've picked out. So Fruitbat says, I'm 16 and I get lots of panic attacks, some over heights, deep water, flying, insects, as well as loads more. Do I need to go and see a doctor? Quite a lot there to be
It's a lot to be going on. I think that maybe they could do is seeing their GP and explain to them, maybe getting some medication. Alternatively, going for some counselling and psychotherapy, which can maybe help them start tackling the different anxieties that are going on for them.
That's going to keep you busy, isn't it? That kind of list of fears.
It certainly is.
Okay, Jamie P. I'm booked to go to America with my friends next spring, but I'm too scared to tell them about my phobia of flying on planes. I imagine that's quite common, is it? I really want to go, but I'm absolutely terrified. What do you recommend I do?
I think they're just going to have to put up with it and get on there, grit their teeth and get through it. By the time they get to cruising altitude, 80% of the anxiety is over and done with, and then they can go and enjoy the rest of their flight themselves.
So it's tied up with the anticipation then, obviously, and that,
absolutely.
Isn't it? Yeah.
That's the worst part about it, is all the anticipation. That's the biggest part of it. And once on the flight, they kick back and relax.
Okay, thanks for that, Mark.
And if not, Jamie, then you can, I'll take your tickets to America. Now, we might know more about phobias and how they work, but I think the question that is on everyone's mind is, can they be cured?
Yeah, Ross, that's definitely been on my mind the whole way through. So, Mark, are there any ways then that people who suffer with phobias can go about curing them, or at least, minimising the effects on their day-to-day life?
Definitely, and I think that the key to all this, as I've already said, is about exposure. It's about facing the fear and about learning to tolerate that discomfort that comes from it. That gradually, if people do that, then over time they'll find that the phobia has less and less effect on them, and quite often that people can, it can just completely diminish. But you've got to be persistent. You've got to learn to grit your teeth and just get through it.
So that's where you feel the fear and do it anyway.
That's
isn't it?
right.
Great, thank you, Mark. Now, we do have a little treat for you all now. We've actually got a lady called Slavka Craig to tell us more about her job of being a hypnotherapist and her work in helping people to deal with their phobias. So here she is with a little bit more.
Obviously, people have preconceived ideas about what hypnosis or hypnotherapy is because their experience is what they see on the TV. Now, we must remember that the stage hypnosis is there to entertain and it's for the show. Hypnosis, in terms of therapeutic means, is completely something else. It is a form of therapy, okay? I cannot make you do anything that you don't want. And you will remember everything that happens during the session. My name is Slavka Craig. I'm a hypnotherapist and I'm based in Scotland. To my knowledge, hypnotherapy has been around for a long time. Hypnosis, as such, it's been documented, it's been used in ancient Greece. Because hypnosis is really just a natural state of mind that we all are in and out pretty much every day. Freud, the famous psychoanalyst Freud, used hypnosis with his patients. So free association, try to go into your unconscious, subconscious mind, access repressed memories, stuff like that. Psychiatrists in America have been using it in 40s, 50s, and Milton Erickson is a very famous guy for this. Hypnosis per se has been taught in medical schools as well. It's been used in dentistry, it's been used for anesthesia, you know, so it's been around for quite some time. My personal experience with hypnotherapy, I used it to stop biting my nails. I was biting my nails ever since I can remember, to be honest with you. I never had any nails, ever. And it was few sessions, and that was it for me. I grew beautiful nails, and I thought, wait a minute, that's interesting. So I started exploring it more, and of course, you can use hypnotherapy to deal with far more serious issues than biting nails. Things like snake phobia, that's another one I've dealt with. Same thing with spider phobia. I mean, it can have a terrible impact on someone. And given the fact that I did psychology and worked in mental health, everything just fell into place for me. I could see the potential. We all live very stressful lives. So this gives you the opportunity to really unwind, and it's a very pleasant experience. A lot of people tell you when you bring them up, I wanted to stay in, I don't want to come back, you know, because it's very relaxing.
Very interesting stuff there. Thank you, Slavka. Now it's time for the results of our Manchester's biggest phobia study. The Phobia Factor team have been working hard all month to find out what phobia has Manchester scared out of its wits. And now we're going to reveal the answers on our leaderboard. So some of our top answers involved a phobia of the dark, flying, needles, and even socialising. And we'll show you the top 10 answers we've collected in the survey. Now you will notice the top of the leaderboard is looking a bit empty. That's because we've taken the top 3 results and we're going to use them in a little game that we've got in store for our guest phobics today, as if they haven't been through enough. Now let's go live to Ross in the phobia testing lab and descend into the fear of the unknown.
Right, well, we're here in the Phobia Factor test lab, guys. Are you scared?
Yeah.
There's a few bats flying past our heads, isn't there? It's all a bit scary in here. Now, we've got 3 guests who are about to embark on the Mystery Box Challenge. We've got Kimberly at box number 1, Abby at number 2, and Emily at number 3. Now, our volunteers have no idea what is contained in any of the boxes, only that each box contains one of the top 3 answers that we collected from our study to find Manchester's biggest phobia. However, you, the viewers, will be able to catch a glimpse, obviously, of what the volunteers are getting themselves into, because there's a little window in the front of the boxes, as you can see. So, guys, how are we all feeling?
Very nervous.
Yeah, I'd say that's
Good, I'm glad. So, shall we begin?
Yeah.
Good. Right, Kimberly, please place your hand inside of the first box.
Okay. Oh, God.
What do you think it is?
Oh, I think it's a snake.
Oh, that was quite a nice response.
Yeah.
You're a snake lover, obviously. That is
I'm
right.
not that scared of snakes, so it's okay.
Okay, great. Well done. Now, Abby, if you pop your hand inside of the second box, please.
What is that?
What do you think it is?
Like sick. Like actual like sick. Like
well, that would be right. That's my dinner from last night,
my
Abby.
God, that's
Emily,
awful.
sorry. Abby, gosh, crikey. Emily, now please place your hand inside of the final box. She's pretty scared. What do you think it is?
Oh, a spider.
Yep. Quite relieved about that. Brilliant. Well, thank you for that, guys. Now, those were 3 of our top answers from our study to find out Manchester's biggest phobia. But which one actually came top? Well, Fiona, that's back to you in the studio. Let's see.
What a game. Some of those reactions were priceless. And better women than I have to say. I don't think I'd want to stick my hand in there. But it goes to show how much the fear of the unknown can affect everybody, right? Many of the viewers at home have been sending in their phobias, which means we now have our final results on the leaderboard for the biggest phobia in Manchester. So let's take a look at the results. So at number 3, 12% of you answered vomiting. At number 2, 13% of you answered snakes. Not so surprising there.
And that means that number 1, a phobia affecting the people of Manchester with a whopping 18% is spiders. Now, Mark, what do you make of this? Are you surprised?
No surprises at all. These are the things that I'd probably expect to come across. They're all very, very, very typical phobias. You know, the sort of things that, again, like the survival mechanisms. You know, the things that we, you know, at some point it's been a good idea for people to be a little bit cautious around those things.
Like natural aversion to those.
Absolutely.
Well, spiders is mine. I wasn't surprised at that one at all.
No. Well, unfortunately, Fiona, that's all we have time for on this week's Phobia Factor. But please make sure that you tune in next week, where we'll have another 3 contestants aiming to conquer their phobias in Fear versus Phobia.
And we'll be speaking to a brave radio presenter who has recently faced his phobia of snakes live on air. Make sure to also follow and like us on both Twitter and Facebook on the following links. And also don't forget to download our new phone app available at the Apple and Play Store to see if our test can help you understand your phobia. A big thank you to our expert Mark and to Kimberly, Abby and Emily on today's show today. From the team and ourselves here at Phobia Factor, until next week, goodbye.
Well done, you don't get a star. Kill them. No, but I think when I came in, I was number 1. But I'm sure it said my name, did it not?
Wasn't I not next to? I think I
did say your name.
Yeah, didn't it? Yeah.